Innocence Soren, welcome to the Metal Mixtape. It is the first time, your premiere on the show. We got James and Bonnie of Innocence Torn, aka Heavy Metal Pacific Northwest Power Couple. What is up?
Oh, hey, thanks for having us.
Thank you so much for having us on.
Hey, see how we just turned it on? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So my first impression of your band is that before Fest, I had no idea who you were. I didn't know who you were as individuals. I didn't know what kind of music you played. I didn't know darn lick about you. But when everybody saw you play for the first time, and a lot of people in general, you made a huge statement to everybody that you're there to rock the hell out. You're there to destroy the stage, and whoever steps on it next has to kick ass because if they don't, your Innocence Torn, they laid one hard. So I just want to say you guys have amazing stage performance, a great chemistry between all the members, especially having another vocalist as well. And one of my favorite things, especially like I'm excited to talk to you guys, is that you guys generally look like you enjoy yourselves there on stage. There's a lot of I've seen a lot of bands live where you can tell they just want to get off. They just want to run through their set. There's people up there you can tell that are kind of just like doing their job. Kind of like, all right, whatever. Not everybody's into it, but everybody in your band looks into it, and I just love it. So we'll just start it off. How did Innocence Torn start? Like, what's the origin and what was the idea behind starting the band?
Why don't you take this one?
Okay. Well, there's a backstory behind me and James. James was my first love when I was much younger. And 33 years later, we wound up getting back together and we got married. And Innocence Torn was really about the love between the two of us and our love for music. I don't think he was expecting that I could sing when we got married. And I remember the day that we were like rolling down the street. I think we were playing In This Moment, and I started singing, and he was like, what the hell is that? From that moment on, he just kind of looked at me and was like, we're going to be in a band and we're going to be big. And I was like, let's do it. What's the worst that's going to happen? So it really kind of started with James and I and that relationship. And
a lot of drunken nights singing and playing Doc, and just ruined our career. But I'm kidding.
Nice job, babe.
Dawkins badass, man. George Lynch is awesome. I'm standing up, man, because he's one of my influences, as is Metallica and everybody else. But I mean, if you go to the Wayback Machine, before there was Metallica, you had Dawkins and Shout at the Devil, Motley Crue. I like Free, Shout at the Devil.
And that's what's really nice too, is that we have kind of the same influences. Growing up, he actually influenced me a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
And really got me into the music that I grew up listening to and into the person that he married.
Well, I grew up on an island, San Juan Islands and Whidbey Island, so I was listening to Megadeth and Metallica before anybody down here knew who they were, So I came down here after spending years up there, and everyone was listening to Poison. I'm like, oh, no, this is Megadeth. This is killing is my business. The business is good. And they got it, So,
and I guess from that point forward, it was almost like the clouds and the gods just kind of shined down on us, because very, very shortly after we decided to be in a band, Rhonda and Walter had come to do they did a photo shoot with us, and we just fell in love with the both of them. And we invited Walter to come, hang out and play with us. So the next thing we know, we're like, okay, this is a band, and slowly but surely, Rhonda started coming in and singing, and now she's gone from, really wanting to just sing a little bit to getting out there and kicking ass. She's really, really impressed me over the last couple of months. And then we brought in Mitch, and Mitch is the youngest of all of us, but he came in playing things like Pantera and things like Kansas, and you're like, what? It blew my mind.
Note for note, and then like Randy Rhoads, like all of us guitarists, we know Crazy Train for the cool parts of it. He was playing it note for note, the solo, the whole freaking song, just like Randy Rhoads. And I'm like, you little bastard.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like, wow.
But I'm really impressed.
Okay.
And I start finding out that there's all these 20 somethings coming up that are in love with metal. And I'm like, I needed that. You know, it made me just that much more dedicated. I've been dedicated my whole life, but I was, you know, watching the scene get older and this and that, and to know that there's a generation that's skipping. There's these young 20-something that are freaking obsessed with our music. It just, that's it, man. I'm in it. You know, I'm cashing all my chips. I'm taking this as far as I can do it. I needed that, and it was amazing. You know, and the cool thing, like with Mitch, is he's so he picks up so fast, you know, and he gets the shit down and he gets the music, and it's
he's really
nice.
dedicated in what he does, you know, and that was key. We've kind of gone through a couple of drummers, and you know, we've had a couple of hiccups along the way, but we're just now going to introduce everybody to Chris Erickson, who
Chris Erickson
is he is definitely the missing link to this band.
And I've seen and known him for years. It wasn't until like last night we got to talking when he was moving in his mountain of equipment. I can I don't know if you can see this, but this is only half. If you look in my studio, you see these giant boxes here, you know, the little stalls. There's a drum head in the back, another drum head, and he's got more shit that's coming. I just spent 6 hours and totally revamped my studio here, trying stuff in the corner because he's just as serious as we are, you know, and he's played all over the place. So we're just bringing in firepower and dedication. That's the biggest thing. Awesome chemistry and someone who's in it to win it, you know. And he's
well, what I want to know is that, like, did you guys already kind of have a fresh idea of like what type of music exactly you wanted to play, or were these like old ideas that were rehashed with new singing? Like what was the whole point of your songwriting process for this band? Like what was the thought process behind before diving in?
We War is kind of you know, the kind of where the band direction is. We're definitely hard and heavy, but at the same time, we want to play shit that we enjoyed, you know, and loved. And there's a lot of songs that we've worked on that people haven't seen us perform, you know, like Killer of Giants by Ozzy and a whole slew of songs, you know, just these badass songs that you don't see other cover bands, probably because they're hard and they're time consuming. I could be part of it, but just really great songs like Lack of Communication. Who doesn't like Lack of Communication? Everybody loves that song. It's not like a super hard song, but it's a badass song. So we were out to play badass music, you know, whatever it is, with no constraints or trying to label it, because there's like a million different things. There's thrash, death metal, black metal, heavy metal, you know, and on and on and on. But really, when it comes down, it's fucking great fucking rock music. So we want to put out, you know, high energy and great music, you know, and try not to get pigeonholed, because it seems like a lot of bands that get stuck. It's like if they do like the thrash or death, then all of a sudden that's all they can do, you know. And I'm hoping, you know, with the grace of God, that doesn't happen to us. You know, we're trying to be somewhat eclectic, but not so much that people don't get us. And so far, everyone's got us, and we do. We love what we're doing, and we're always progressing, and we bring the party. You know, we're
now for me, redoing some of these songs, I wanted to come out and remind people of like that old school feeling of rock. You know what I'm saying? Where people like actually dressed up to when, you know, to get on stage, where they, you know, things like Skid Row. I don't think anybody in a million years would expect a girl to get up on stage to do that. It's eye popping. At the same time, it really reminds me of like my roots. So we wanted to do a few things that kind of brought that memory back to you. And then we kind of wanted to take a little bit of our loves, like bluesy, kind of rock, thrash, rock, you know, heavy metal, and kind of really focus on the things that made us get to this point of being in this band. So War is definitely one of the things. I wrote War, and that was kind of like, I wanted it to be a little harder than what it is, but at the same time too, it kind of gives you an idea that there's differences with us. We're not cookie cutter. It's not going to be the same thing every time you see us, but at the same time too, it also shows kind of a progression of where we are.
But you're going to see with these songs that each one it's real. We're in it. We love this song. You know, they're all our babies. You know, we have for those that like War, we've got a like 6-7 songs that are on their way on this album that we're going to work on as soon as we have a moment between shows. We plan to go into the studio in August, but we literally until the drummer change have been doing shows every weekend and sometimes 4 and 5 shows in a row. So we're probably like November, December, we'll actually finally be able to go back in the studio and get these songs, and then actually start playing them to everyone to see, because we've got a lot of hard, fast energy and some other surprises out there too. We want to be innocent storm. So when people hear us, they see that it's live. We don't use sample tracks and crap. It's raw. And it's us. We love what we're doing. Like what you had said earlier, we do enjoy what we're doing out there, and we bring the theatrics, and we have our look and so forth. We try to bring everything. We don't want to be up there in just shorts or this or that. Nothing against that, but we're just trying to create a show, an element.
You just offended half the metalheads in Oregon that wear shorts.
No, I get that, man. I totally
get it. And 90% of them wear cargo shorts.
Yeah. Well, and I do too, but
I don't know. I didn't want to go out. It's one thing to be a female in this industry, but I have yet to see, and they're starting to finally get a foothold, and they're having a place on that stage. And I figured if I was going up there to really put it out there, I was going to go full out all the time. I think it's really super important. It not only gives you a good visual, but at the same time too, we try to bring the energy that goes behind that. You know what I mean? And so I don't know, it's really fun to dress up, and
it is fun.
And I don't know, man. I'm having a lot of fun, picking out outfits and all this kind of thing. But at the same point too, there is a point behind it, and that's that we wanted to try to stand out the best that we could, and I think we're doing a pretty good job. We're getting noticed, and that's really very awesome.
Another thing I want to throw out is all the bands that I feel really honored to share the stage with and hear play. There's so much freaking talent in the Northwest. It's awesome. We do everything. We're all about networking and bringing everybody up, because that's what's going to make the metal scene monstrous. We all got to help each other out, because that you look at hip hop and all this, that's how they did it. And there's a definite brotherhood amongst metal, but the stronger we make that, and the more we use each other as stair steps, and help each other, that's what's going to make us unstoppable.
And that's another reason why we're Metacross Family, is because Brenda and Scott have done everything they can in the Pacific Northwest to bring bands together and make them stronger. They've given them opportunity. They're there if they need an ear. Like, they just strengthen this really cool family we have going on. So we're really blessed to be in their lives, to be honest.
And it's all about, we all love metal. That's what it's all about. We want to get out there, we want to play and share our love of the music that we love, to the best of our abilities. And I feel very, very fortunate and grateful, to have the community that I've had in the band and the opportunities. Definitely don't take it lightly. And I mean, from my standpoint, and I think I speak for pretty much everyone in the band, if not everyone for sure, is we just want to be able to maintain and stay on a level where people are entertained, and they enjoy what we're doing.
Well, you know what? Everybody in music, I always think that everybody has their why. I think there's multiple reasons why we play music, but when it comes down to it, like, we play music for only one real reason that boils down to it. So we'll start with you, James. What's your why?
What's my what?
Why? What's your why? Why do you do music? Why? What do you get from being on stage?
I was kind of born a musician. When I was my mom was a professional classical musician. And thankfully she steered me away. She was a professional classical flutist, but she was quite good. She had her degree, master's degree in music from the University of Washington, and was first chair in the Portland Philharmonic. And I was just in love with classical music. I mean, when I was a little kid, I was a full, complete freaking nerd. I didn't listen to anything but classical music. I was in love with Beethoven and Mozart and Chopin and on and on and on. Johann Sebastian Bach and all the movements and concertos and this and that. And it wasn't until I was about 12, even though I was being trained as a musician, that's all I knew was like classical and jazz. And I by my brother, believe it or not, a Motley Crue Shout Out to Devil CD. I fell in love with it, and it ruined me for life in a great way. Even though I was playing guitar, I was playing classical guitar and like flamenco and stuff. And I thought it was amazing, but I just got, on an epic level. So I do it because I absolutely love it. It consumes my entire life. I mean, I don't even know how many guitars I own. It's that bad. Or and I've been in bands forever. I love music. That's my why. It's because I guess I'm lucky. I've always known that I was a musician, and that's my passion, and I feel that it's part of my destiny. And hopefully, I affect people in a positive way, and I can pass that on to other people, because I enjoy that. I spent a lot of time giving lessons, vocal and guitar lessons, until I just got tired, because I got so into all my students that it was just consuming my life. So I had to walk away. I did for about 10 years, but I loved it, and I still love it. So when I do the band thing, my why is to hopefully capture the audience and have them go, fuck yeah, where they get that show where I see sometimes, kind of like the first time I saw Pitch Black Mass, I was like, fuck yeah, I just
for real
got the fucking vibe, or fucking Warpath, or your band, you guys are all fucking amazing, and I love that, and that's my why, I think, is I want to be able to pass that on to someone where they're like in the audience, they're like, yeah, and they want to go home and play their guitar, or whatever, so I guess that's the best way I can.
All right, Bonnie, what's your why? What does music do for you? Like, for reals, like deep down, like what does it do for you? Why do you do it?
For me, it replaces a lot of really bad negative things that have happened in my life. It replaces internally, like depression. It gives me a reason to be balanced, I think. I was one of those kids when you grew up, you got told like you can't do that. You can't do that. You need to follow in a day job. I wanted to be a musician my entire life, but nobody's really ever taken me serious, especially, for a while, my family. And what's funny is fast forward now, I work so hard towards it that even my own grandmother is really proud of me for just stepping up. I also think that there's another side to this, that for a long time, females never really had, like I said, that stage that, they weren't accepted or looked on, like they could bring something to the table. And I'm proving that wrong right now. Even if like they're not the best of the best of the best out there, it doesn't matter, because I'm stepping up and showing other females that this is possible, that you too can do this. But again, when I look at the reason I'm personally doing this is because I need this to live. I feel like with all the negativity and everything else in the world, this gives me something to look forward to. It gives me a reason to work harder. It gives me a reason to be honest, have integrity. It gives me a reason to express those things in a more positive way. And maybe along the way make a difference. That would be awesome. But I don't know what I would do without this band right now. Many a times I thought, okay, well, there's more important things in this world. And then I get up on that stage and I prove myself wrong every time. I don't think there is anything outside of my love for him, lucky guy. In this family that we've built on this, we've all built it with hard work. We've had to walk through some insecurities. We've had to hold each other into a higher space. We've really worked very hard together to do this. So it's also about that connection that I have with these other people. They all share the same hopes, the same dreams. We have the same insecurities, those kind of things. But when we work on them together, it's like rebuilding that family, but this one actually believes in you. So my band makes it so much easier for me to get up on stage. They believe in me and I believe in them. And that, my friend, is it's very heartfelt. Now when I get up on stage, I can look at all of them. We're all smiling at each other, and that's because we know what we've done to get there. You know what I mean? It wasn't handed to us. We really earned where
It's
we're
like
at.
any other band. There's always a lot of sacrifices. I don't care what band you're in.
It's true.
Most often, you got your day job, and then you're fitting in your practices where you can. It's expensive to do the band thing, so there's a lot of, financial aspects. I mean, sometimes you can get a windfall of cash, and then other times you lose your butt traveling or whatever. You never know. But you're doing it because that's what you are. And it's your dream, and that's what you believe in. And it's awesome.
Wally's trying to chime in, I think.
Oh yeah, Wally.
Well, hang on.
Nice.
I'm so sorry to do this right back.
What did you hear?
Walter's trying to.
Okay, there you are.
Okay.
Walter's having a really hard time getting into the Zoom.
Oh, no worries, no worries. So no, I think that's absolutely amazing. That's literally I think every band, every awesome band needs those qualities about loving it. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you can manufacture it, but you could really tell when people are loving it. And I loved both of your answers. And I honestly think that, like, when you really break it down and you really talk about why you do music, it's almost like music therapy. You're just like, you bring it up, and then I'm sure after this interview, you're gonna be like, you know what? Let's do something music related right now. Is that reinvigorating that fire?
I will be right back. I'm so sorry.
I totally agree. Well, actually, we are going to do music. Bonnie and I are going to plug in after the interview and roll through some stuff. That's what we do. If we're not on stage or whatever, we're practicing or playing or creating. Because that's what we love to do.
No, absolutely. So before we talk about the album, the release, and where to find Innocence Torn, we're going to go around the room. I'm going to ask you a bunch of music / non-music related questions. Bonnie and James, are you ready?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to switch this up a little bit. All right, James, if you could pick how Bonnie got murdered, but it had to be by a serial killer in a movie, who would you pick and how would he do it?
This is funny that you asked this question. Go ahead. This is great.
Which person would I pick to kill you?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you were a young boy, that would be easy. I could say Wayne Gacy, but just because he's just so I can't say he's cool, but it's fascinating. Or Jeffrey John. Again, he likes.
Yeah.
What about the Zodiac Killer?
Oh.
Because it's very mysterious, and they never actually did find out who the Zodiac Killer was. And you're so into astrology and very witchy. I would think if you had any kind of a chance, he might be the one that actually ends up getting a world of shit. So, yeah, my answer, I'm going to go with the Zodiac Killer.
All right, Bonnie. If you could choose how James got murdered, but it had to be by somebody in a horror flick, who would it be and how would he do it? Or how would he do it?
This is actually funny because
how about like
I don't know if it's not a horror movie though.
It could be any villain.
It would have to be Poison Ivy. I have this, yes, because I love the idea of poison lipstick and alluring somebody into that kiss. I think that's amazing, and and be very charming, and you don't see it coming, right? Because it's in poison lipstick. So yeah, I would.
Oh, keep that
the kiss of death, bro.
I like it. All right, for this next question, we're going to start on Bonnie. Bonnie, if you could sing for any band in any era for one set, any band that's not named Innocence Torn, what band would you sing for?
Oh, good question. I'm really not sure. That's a tough one. I'd have to say they're like, do you mean like professional band or local band?
It could be any band.
Damn, that's a tough question. Omar, you got me.
You can say pass if James already had Sanity.
Yeah, it's probably going to be Separation of Sanity.
She loves that band.
That's one of my favorite bands for obvious reasons, but yeah, it would probably. Sorry, Jason, love you, bro, but I would totally take Separation of Sanity for 100.
Yeah, I think that's my guitarist Rusty's favorite local band, so makes sense. All right, James. If you can play guitar or just play in any band in any era for one set, dead or alive, that's not Innocence Torn, who is it?
Well, I wouldn't mind doing something like with Yngwie Malmsteen. No, I think I'll go with Ozzy because then I know I'm gonna have a career afterwards. Yeah, I'm going with the Godfather or the Prince of fucking darkness, right?
Yeah.
So, yes, Ozzy.
All right. I'm all right. Now I'm gonna ask a risque question because I love asking these. I'm gonna start with James. Who is overrated and who is underrated?
For bands?
Yep.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's
overrated, huh?
You can keep it professional. You don't have to say local.
Oh no, I love the local scene. I would never throw anybody local under the bus ever. I know the local scene works very fucking hard and deserves way more credit. Boy. Overrated.
And it doesn't have to say a bad. Overrated and underrated don't have to be a bad thing. It can just be a band that got more credit than you think they should have, and a band that didn't get enough credit.
Well, I would have to throw probably Metallica under the bus. They're an amazing band, but where they started and where they are now, I would say that they are overrated. Definitely, they're not the talent they were. Like with Master of Puppets and with the Dave Mustaine influence and the original bassist, not even close. Great band, love them, but I definitely think they're overrated. And who do you think's underrated? Who would I think that's underrated? So many bands that are underrated. That's hard to, honestly, I would have to say, and that's probably because of losing Sebastian Bach, but Skid Row, man. Those guitarists are fucking badasses, and they've done a lot of badass stuff. But once they lost their lead singer, their career's really taken a fall, which it's probably not surprising because Sebastian Bach was such.
Yeah, they should change the name to the Skid.
yeah. But yeah,
all right.
You go watch their little things on YouTube where they're doing like their solo excerpts or teaching future guitarists how to play their stuff. They're phenomenal guitarists. They deserve way more.
I dig it. All right, Bonnie. Who's underrated and overrated?
For me, who's overrated? And this is gonna make Mitch mad. I'm sorry, Mitch. But I feel like this, bro. Sorry. I hate Green Day. I just they literally get more airplay than they should. I think the lead singer is kind of a pompous ass, and I can't appreciate their music maybe like Mitch. Sorry, Mitch.
It's in the safe zone.
Yes.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, I'm just not for it. And who's underrated? I think John Corabi was totally underrated.
Big time. Great answer.
Because he wasn't Vince Neil, like they totally shit on him when he took over
the best Motley Crue album ever was that self-titled Motley Crue with John Corabi. It had nuts. You had two guitars. Everything was in drop D. He's freaking screaming. I mean, that was the album I always wanted to hear from Motley Crue, and it didn't do shit because they didn't have Vincent.
And I talked to John on Facebook and stuff, and they've been talking about how he's possibly going to go back to Motley Crue. And the reason why that is because Nikki Sixx did an interview and said, you know what? Vince Neil can't do John Corabi's album.
Yeah,
they don't have that chemistry like that for that kind of music. But I think it was one of the most underrated albums that I've ever heard in my life. And in fact, I was going to cover one of his things, but that just never came to came to
Yeah,
fruition. So,
we can read.
but John Robbie's freaking amazing.
I dig it. I love it. I love it. So for all the listeners out there in Ashland, Oregon, we are talking to James and Bonnie from Innocent Storm from the Pacific Northwest. So for all of the beautiful people out there who missed this interview, you can find it on YouTube a couple days after the interview is aired. So for everybody out there just tuning in and they want to listen to Innocent Storm, where can they find your music? And if you could say one thing about your band that stands out in one sentence, what would it be?
Okay, so you can find us anywhere you can download music. You can even find us on TikTok. We're on YouTube, Amazon. We are on DistroKid, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple. So you can pretty much get it anywhere. You can take a listen at innocencetorn.com. And then I'm sorry, what was the other question?
I know I was going to say, for all the new listeners out there, if you could say it in one sentence, what makes your band stand out?
I think what's really unexpected.
That would probably be Bonnie. She can't answer this. I think her extremely intense, ferocious vocals and compassion definitely stand out. Next would be the League of no, but
no, it's not. I think what it is that besides our physical aesthetic, I think really there's a chemistry between me and Rhonda when we get up there that you're not expecting. You're not going to expect that girls can do this. We're no butcher babies, but that's not the direction that we wanted to go anyway. I think you're going to see something really, really unique. And there's a very kind of old school, like new kind of thunder that you're going to hear in what we do. And I think that's really what makes us stand out. I think it's that chemistry between Rhonda and I, amongst the talent in the band, of course. Don't take me wrong, but at the same time too, I really believe that Ron and I don't sound like anybody else out there, but we have a chemistry together, and I think that's kind of cool.
I love it. I love it. Well, James and Bonnie, thank you so much for being on the Metal Mixtape, making time. After this interview, we're going to play some music. Before I let you go, give me some shout outs, each of you.
Let's do like Brendan Scott Cross. We love you guys. Metal Cross family. All my brothers at Rivera Fest. Love you all.
All of our band members.
And those who couldn't be with us tonight.
Past and present.
Yep, absolutely. And to anybody out there who absolutely loves metal, man, we're with you.
To Omar, thank you very much. and the whole scene in Central and Southern Oregon, you guys are so awesome to us. We love you guys down there, and that goes for all you. There's so many bands, I don't know if I can like name them all. It's phenomenal.
Drastic Downwards.
Justin Rivera, awesome. Big shout out to Justin Rivera.
Separation Sanity, Orthoris, Eddie, all y'all.
Stubby.
Man, we're really, really honored that we get to share a stage with these people, with yourself. I mean, that just kind of goes to show where we're at. And we are so honored to have shared a stage with you guys. And we can't thank you enough.
6 Man Quota, shout out to them. Those guys are amazing.
Much love, guys. Well, Bonnie, James, thank you for making time in our busy schedule. We just got done talking to Innocent Storm from the Pacific Northwest. Please check them out everywhere. They are going to be playing everywhere. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much, James and Bonnie. You guys have a wonderful night.
All right, you as well. Thank you, Omar. Have a good night.
Peace out, guys.